Title: The Carbon Con: How a billion-dollar green energy giant faked saving the planet. Description: in May 2026, the SEC charged the CEO of Aether Dynamics, a $40 billion clean tech darling, with running the most sophisticated green laundering scheme in history. They didn't just fake carbon credits, they invented the factories that produced them. This is the inside story of a fraud that fooled BlackRock, the UN, and every major climate watchdog. Tags: greenwashing, carbon credits, fraud, white-collar crime, SEC, corporate crimes. Script hook: in the summer of 2025, a small drone flew over a remote patch of Indonesian rainforest. The footage it captured didn't show a lush, protected ecosystem that had supposedly generated $200 million in carbon credits. It showed rows of empty shipping containers, painted green with fake satellite reflectors glued to the roofs. Aether Dynamics had been selling virtual forests, and Wall Street bought every pixel. Introduction: welcome to corporate crimes. It's May 2026. The global carbon offset market is now worth over $1 trillion. Governments and corporations are desperate to hit net zero targets, and that desperation has created a perfect storm for fraud. Today we're looking at a scandal that makes Enron look like a lemonade stand, the complete fabrication of a carbon-negative supply chain by a company that was briefly worth more than Ford. This is the story of how a former McKinsey consultant named Julian Croft turned thin air into a $12 billion enterprise, until the truth caught up with him. Section 1. The perfect pitch. Julian Croft was not a scientist, he was a storyteller. In 2019, he founded Aether Dynamics with a single, intoxicating promise: we don't just offset carbon, we reverse time. Croft's pitch was simple. Aether claimed to have developed a proprietary atmospheric carbon capture system that was 400% more efficient than anything on the market. But here's the twist. They didn't build expensive machines, they claimed to have discovered a genetically engineered algae that could absorb CO2 at 10 times the rate of a natural forest. They called it Aether Bloom. The problem? The algae didn't exist. Croft was a master of the sciencey presentation. He hired actors with PhDs to play lab directors in promotional videos. He built a fake facility in a rented warehouse in Reno, Nevada, complete with bubbling tanks of ordinary green pond scum. He even had a control room with blinking lights that did nothing. By 2022, Aether had secured a $3 billion contract from a consortium of EU airlines looking to offset their emissions. BlackRock's Sustainable Energy Fund invested $1.8 billion. The UN's Clean Development Mechanism even pre-approved 50 million of Aether's carbon credits. The house of cards was built, and it was about to collapse under the weight of its own greed. Section 2. The Empire of Illusion. To keep the money flowing, Croft needed to show delivery. He created a network of shell companies across Indonesia, Malaysia, and the Philippines. Each one was registered as a conservation partner. They would sell Aether-verified carbon credits from rainforests that Aether supposedly protected. But here's the brilliant horrifying part. Aether paid locals to plant plastic trees. That's right. In the remote jungles of Borneo, investigators found thousands of fiberglass trees with metal leaves, designed to fool satellite imagery. Croft's team had studied the spectral signatures of real rainforests and created a fake forest that looked identical from space. The numbers were staggering. Between 2022 and 2025, Aether sold over 40 million carbon credits to companies like Shell, Delta Airlines, and Nestle. Each credit represented 1 ton of CO2 that was supposedly captured. In reality, Aether's actual carbon capture was 0. They were selling nothing. And they were audited 3 times by Deloitte, who signed off on the inventory verification without ever setting foot on the ground. The whistleblower who finally cracked the case was a Stanford-trained ecologist named Dr. Elena Vasquez. She was hired by BlackRock to do a routine site audit. When she arrived at the coordinates Aether provided, she found a logging camp. She filed a 47-page report that BlackRock's internal team dismissed as anomalous data. Section 3. The Unraveling. In February 2026, the first domino fell. A former Aether employee, a junior data analyst named Marcus Chen, leaked internal emails to the Financial Times. The emails showed Croft personally ordering the purchase of large quantities of green paint and industrial-grade plastic sheeting. The FT ran the story under a headline that went viral: Aether's forest is a parking lot.